everybody. So, if you haven't checked out my All-American review, it's up too. And this is my Riverdale. They both come out on the same day, so I was like, why not make a review for both of them? I never rate Riverdale TV reviews, and it's like on its third season, but might as well get started on it. So, this is my review for Riverdale, Season 3, Episode 1. Boom. If you don't know how I make my reviews is I just like talk about key things. I don't just go through the whole, key things that I thought stood out in the episode, because like if I just go through every single part of what happened, that's just boring, and you can just watch the show yourself, just watch it. Okay, so the key thing is Archie in jail? Is he going to jail? And it starts off with his case, and he's being framed for murder. And if you haven't watched the last season, there was this part where they went to the cabin, and Veronica's cabin, and then there was these guys that came to rob them, and Archie chased them into the woods, and then Veronica's dad's like henchman, I can't think of his name right now, he was there like a bodyguard, and he shot and killed him. And now Archie's getting blamed for it, because it's easy to blame Archie, apparently, because he has a criminal past by beating up the rich boy that was harassing the women there, and for starting those gang groups. So he's not as innocent as he used to be, so it was easy. But it's still weird to me that, I don't know. So basically it's first degree murder, and that's just like, oh. And it's the summertime. I think we said the summertime before junior year, or is it the junior year summer? Is it the summertime for junior year, or it's the summer before senior? I think it's the summertime for junior year. Please tell me below in the comments, because I missed that one. Archie's mother is his lawyer, which is kind of cool. And she's like, there's no evidence he's a good son. She just like lists out all the things that he did. And like the whole town's there, because it's like one of those small towns. So clearly that's the biggest thing that's going on in Riverdale right now. And basically the jury, so when it was time to hear the verdict, or the jury to go back, the judge gave Archie the weekend so he can enjoy with his family, and then the jury would come back and tell their decision. So now we get to see what everybody else is up to. Oh, another fun thing that happened is like another thing Fred. Okay, so Fred, Archie's dad, punched him in the face, and I was for it. I was here for it, because he just got on my nerves. At one point, I liked him last season when I thought he was like just like the protective dad, but like really good and misunderstood. But then I was like, oh no, this man is evil. He's only selfish, manipulator. I do not like him. And the thing he did to Archie, it's just, and he just in denial keeps saying, I don't know what you're talking about, Veronica. I had nothing to do with it. I had nothing to do with it. It's just crazy. So then we see Cheryl. She invites everybody to a pool party to hang out before school starts, and they all go, they chill out. Nothing really happens until a guy, let me see his name. Sweet Pea. And since Sweet Pea runs with the Jughead and was like, we found out who stole Hot Dog, which is their dog. At first I really didn't know who Hot Dog was. I was like, what is going on with that? But it's the dog. And it was the Goonies, which you should mess with the Goonies. Last time you messed with the Goonies, he almost died. So they go out to go find the dog, and it ends up being like a setup, because we have Penny there. And who likes Penny? Nobody likes Penny, but she's one of the people that Jughead's dad, he had like a deal with her, and then he went to jail, so Jughead took over, and then he basically like attacked her to say, hey, we're not gonna be underneath your wing no more, you need to leave, yada yada. And then she blew revenge, and it was a whole fight. So yeah, that's the backstory on that. It was a lot. So anyway, she's there with the whole little Goonie gang, and was like, you need to stop trying to come down here Southside, because you don't belong here no more, yada yada. You can have the jacket. And then Cheryl decides she wants to be Arrow and shoot one of the Goonies in the chest or the shoulder, one of the two. So then they started a war with them. They was like, now Penny's like, oh, now the north side is going to be on our radar, yada, yada, yada. So that's just with that. So we have to deal, we know later on the season somehow we're going to deal with the Goonies and Penny and all of them. So we have Archie's drama with the court, we have the Goonies with Jughead, and now the next big thing is Betty. in their family, in the farm. So let me say what I feel like with the farm. The farm feels like a really scary cult, like a cult posing as doing good, but really just, I don't know, it's just very creepy because everything the sister says is like, well, the guy from the farm says, Edgar, that's what his name is, Edgar's this. It's like, can you think for yourself, like, who is this Edgar guy and why does he have so much control over you? That's very creepy, that's weird, like, what the heck? So basically, the mom went to the farm and it killed her from being, because she kind of lost her mind after finding out her husband was the masked guy killing people and doing crazy stuff and almost killed her. So yeah, she lost her mind. She went to the farm and I guess found it with Edgar. So now she is a thumping Edgar supporter and the sister wants Betty to join. And Betty's not for it. She's like, you guys are crazy, yada yada yada. So that's another thing with that. And then we find out I'm just gonna go with the whole little Betty scenario. With Betty, so the farm thing, and then later on in the episode, found that Betty was lying about going to counseling. Then she was forging things to get Adderall. So the family thinks she's in denial. And then we found out that Betty hasn't really dealt with anything that happened last year. She just brushed it off because she has been focused on Archie's case. And now that they'll figure out who did it, but at the case about to end soon, she realizes that maybe she needs to stop taking the medicine and really go to counseling and figure out her life, which I think she should too. And so let's go to Jughead's drama, because everybody has their little stories and Jughead has his. This kid comes around talking about the Gargoyle King. It was very weird. It was when they was going to figure out, it was on the day where the verdict of who, like, what Archie's gonna get's coming out, and Jughead was like, okay dude, just sit down. Well, so then the end of that, let's get to just put him all in the thing. So after the let's go to the verdict and then come back. Okay. So the verdict for Archie, let's end Archie's overall story for this episode. The jury was stuck. It was 6-6. They was like, it's not going to change. So the judge was like, okay, so when that happens, the court apparently just, get to do it all again. New jurors, just the whole process. And Archie was just over. He was like, I'm not going to do it. So then the defense was like, well, you know what? If Archie agrees to go 2 years probation, then he don't have to go to jail. We won't sue him for that. And Archie was like, I take the deal. And they was like, no, don't take the deal. He takes the deal. He pleads guilty because that's what was part of the deal. And everybody's like, what the heck? Veronica runs after him like, he's innocent. Everybody's looking at him. And it's just like a whole ordeal. He just wanted to get the whole thing over with because he just did not want to put his family and friends through the court system again. So he took the deal. So he's going straight to juvenile detention for 2 years. And he also became honorary serpent. So in jail he has like some type of gang affiliation. So people will think twice to mess with him. So yeah, that's crazy. Archie's going to jail? No. Won't juvenile jail? I mean, it's all bad. I wanted the deal. I would just kept going and like extending it out because I know I didn't do it. I'm innocent, but Archie thinks about people for himself and it makes sense. And then Jughead's dad and the old sheriff, they're on the case. Like they're determined with Fred to free Archie, and they're gonna do their own investigation. So I know they're gonna have their own little side story too. And lastly, it ends with Jughead coming home and finding his paper because the guy with the gargoyle store, he's nowhere to be seen. Well, there's a paper. On the paper, there's like this stick figure thingy with the mask holding something up. Looks like some type of ritual. Flips the thing around as a map, which matches the map on his wall, and he puts it up to it, and he's like, oh, I don't even know what's going on, but clearly it has something to do with something, because I don't know. So then he gets in his car, he goes into the woods, and then he finds like this very creepy seance type thing. There's like markings on trees, and there's like this big that same symbol is like on the tree, and then there's like candles everywhere, and there's 2 boys with blood on their back or something on the back with carvings on the back of it, and they're just like laid out at the altar, and it looks like they're dead, but Jughead like shakes one of them, and the guy takes a deep breath, and It's like, what is going on? And that's how the episode ended. But Nope, that's not how it ended. That's not how it ends. It's a big shocker at the end. Well, it's almost a shocker, but yeah, it is a shocker at the end. It's a Jughead story thing then. So now we know that Jughead's going to have, like, the Goonies to deal with. He's going to have whatever this Gargoyle King is and that ritual thing to deal with. And let's go back to Betty. Betty ends the show with a bang. Betty goes outside and she sees the farm people with the fire and has the 2 twin babies. And they are, her mama and sister are holding the babies. And then they drop the babies. Like, they're about to drop them in the fire, but then the babies float in the air. I don't even know. That's some creepy voodoo, I don't know, some weird stuff. Betty's looking at them. She's looking like, what the heck? And then she faints and has a seizure. Like, so I don't even know where that's going to even go. But yeah, she has a seizure and the episode ends. So overall, I think that this episode of Riverdale was really good. It set up a lot of good storylines and plots, like a lot. So we know there's going to be a lot of things going on. It's not going to be a boring moment. I mean, when is it ever boring on Riverdale? I love the mystery part of it. And I can't wait for the rest of the season. And please comment below how you thought the first episode of season 3 was and what's your favorite parts. And let's discuss and talk. And if you haven't seen my other episode review of All American, which I left the link below in the section below, click on it, watch it, engage, and maybe find another show to binge too. Because I mean, if you're watching Riverdale, you might as well go back down and watch All American too. And that's it.